Scanning. Identity authorized. Welcome to the Secret Superhero Club Podcast Network.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 203 of the Animation Station podcast. My name is Josh, and today I am joined by a very special guest, Jacob Hopkins. How you doing, Jacob?
I'm doing awesome, man. How have you been?
I've been doing great. So Jacob, let's... well, first off, welcome to the show, man. It's really cool to, talk to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, no problem. And you are, we do have a lot of, voice actors that are on here that are primarily voice actors, but you do both. Like, you're you're an actor, and you also do voiceover. So, you're one of the very few, I think, you and, Phil Lamar are, right up there on our list of, actors and voice actors. So, congrats.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's definitely really fun doing both, for sure.
And yeah, you've been on the Goldbergs. You were Gumball in the Amazing World of Gumball. You're currently in Dragons, Rescue Riders. You've been in True Blood. I mean, you've been kind of all over the gaff.
Yeah, I mean, starting at the age of 4, I tended to really experiment what I wanted to really do, where I found my home, and it ended up being both. I actually started in live action, and my first big thing was True Blood. You've done your homework, man.
I do. I try and, sometimes.
And you've done a great job. True Blood. Yeah, that was a trip. I was 9 years old doing that, and I was the most powerful vampire on the elite authority of vampires, and it was crazy. It was like a 9-year-old boy's dream come true. I was obsessed with monsters at the time, and I remember being enthralled with Frankenstein and Dracula, and I was hitting the peak of not the peak, but the entrance to comic book reading, and for me it started with that, and that was awesome, and so I kind of made my home into the live action world, and around the age of 10 is when I realized that, wait a second, cartoons, I could do that. And I had grown up on on everything on Boomerang now, the Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Laboratory, Looney Tunes, just a bunch of cartoons that I grew up on.
That hurts my soul. Because you're talking, that was on, Boomerang. And I'm like, I was around when that came out on Cartoon Network. When that premiered.
I think it was. It was on Cartoon Network for me. I'm pretty sure, but nowadays it's on Boomerang, Ed, Edd and Eddy. But I think I made it a little late to the party. I was watching it 2 years before Boomerang ended up being created, and was like, hey, we're going to have all these retired cartoons. That even hurts me to say that. But, I was, so anyways, I was like, wait, I could do that. So I got into voiceover when I was 10, and my first audition was Gumball, which is pretty crazy to say. That's pretty surreal.
I mean, starting off, pretty strong with one of the most popular Cartoon Network shows in that 2010s era. So I think you did okay.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think you did well there.
I think I did pretty well. I think I did. Yeah. That was great though. I mean that was, I learned everything I knew about voiceover from that world, and I love it. It's definitely a new spectrum of acting, because in live action acting, it's you have these set of rules that you have to follow. You can't just, go crazy. Unless you're Jim Carrey, which by any case, go for it. But
have you seen the new Sonic movie?
I haven't. I've heard really, really good things about it. I was a little hesitant to watch it, because I was like, I just don't know if it's going to, but I've heard it's really good.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey's hilarious.
It feels...
The animation looks great.
Yeah, it feels like there were definitely, good chunks of that movie where they were just like, Jim, just be Jim, have at it, just do whatever you want to do, and we're just gonna record it.
Right, man, yeah. By any case, I mean, Jim Carrey can do both, but with the exception of that insanely talented man, there's some set of rules. you got to be real. It's like real life. Whereas on, you know, like voiceover with cartoons, you can be as crazy and zany as you want. I mean, just take a look at Tom Kenny or,
Yeah.
I mean, like they just go for it, and that's what was really appealing to me as a kid, because not only was I doing what I loved and what I grew up on, but like if you give a 10-year-old the opportunity to like go crazy, then and get paid for it, like it's just there's no stopping you, you know?
So okay, so you started off, you did your True Blood, and then you got the role of Gumball. So how did acting kind of like start for you? Like, were you, as a child, were your parents like, hey, we need to get him into acting school? Were you like the class clown? How did it kind of come together for you?
It's actually pretty interesting. My dad used to be an actor, and he never really like had like this prospect like my son's gonna be an actor one day. He would support me in anything I would choose to do. But one fateful day when I was like 4 years old, I was running errands with him, and we stopped by his agents, and they just thought I was really talkative and had a lot of personality, and that's definitely what agents are looking for in child actors. And they were just saying, "Oh, well, who's this one? Is this your kid? Does he want to act?" And I perked up. I'm like, "Yeah, sure. What's acting?" So I was like kind of like not thrown, but like I was obviously guided by my parents into this new world, but it's definitely very different. As a kid, it's like playing pretend, but officially. It's like playing house, but everyone's watching. Like it was very odd, and it was a little bit difficult for me to wrap my head around, because I kind of like thought of the TV world as like this separate world. Like, how kids, they just think like, how do those guys get in that box?
Yeah.
How does that work? And like at 4 years old, yeah, exactly. Like at like such a young age, I found out, and like my entire view on the world was just transformed. And and it was really cool though. Like everything about it is just awesome.
Yeah, because like I remember when I was growing up, like, I didn't know what voice actors were or anything like that. So whenever I saw something like a cartoon or anything, and be like, oh, that's cool, that's that person. Like you knew it was like drawn and everything and animated, but it was never like at least to me, like growing up, it was never I associate this person with this character. Like it took me, I don't know, till like, maybe I was like 9 or 10, and then I was like, oh, those people, they're real.
No, exactly. I like, it's really funny when I go to conventions to do like Gumball panels and autograph sessions and everything. And I meet a lot of people, and there's a big demographic that Gumball has created. There's definitely your adults, teenagers, preteens, but then you get these little kids, and sometimes they're really cool about it. Sometimes they're really hyper, but sometimes they walk up and they're so confused, like, wait, that's the guy that. And they look at the picture, and then they look at me, and they're like, "That's not." They're like, they can't fathom it.
Yeah, like unfortunately, you're not a small blue cat boy.
Yeah, which I would preferably would want to be, of course, no doubt about it. But unfortunately, sadly.
So you got into acting, pretty young. Like, what were some of your, influences, like acting wise? Like, wow, thank you, motorcycle. That was really cool on this nice small street, right? Yeah, like what were some of your acting influence? Like, was there a special, like a certain actor or anything that you kind of looked up to, kind of aspired to be, kind of like base your style off of them?
Yeah, I definitely I learned most of what I know from my dad, because he was the one, the actor before me. Like my father before me, and
so you're basically a Jedi, is what you're saying. You're like a Luke Skywalker in voice acting.
Yeah, that's basically, and Mark Hamill's a voice actor too, so it fits perfectly. Um, I would say that I kind of just based it off of real life experience. Acting, in order to be like a good actor, you got to know people, and that's always what I've been told by other actors and coaches and everything is that um, acting is basically just being yourself and putting a twist on it. And you got to know how people act, like how they would respond to things or talk about things, inflections in their voice and everything. And I just kind of based that on my real life experience. But of course, I drew a lot of inspiration from various actors, watching how they act. That's always definitely a really good idea. I'm totally in love with Jack Nicholson movies. Those are great. Like his Joker, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, The Shining. He's a supernatural actor, and that's kind of like a double entendre. Like he's a super natural, relaxed actor,
Yeah.
but there's something about him that's just like
That's a little bit
above
supernatural,
us.
yeah.
Yeah, right. There's something about him that's really interesting, and I think that's what makes a really good actor is that yeah, you could be a really good actor by being really real, but if you find that spark in you that like separates you from the boys and the men, then that's what really makes you an interesting actor. And I guess I don't pretend to be like Jack Nicholson. That's never good to literally impersonate someone and for the rest of your life. But like it's like that spark that he has inspired me, I guess I would say, to like find a spark for myself. I feel like every actor out there should find something that makes them different and unique.
Nice. That's a fantastic act. I was going to ask later, do you have any advice for up and coming, actors and everything? You pretty much just nailed it right out there on the head.
Yeah, no, that's definitely advice right there. Find something that makes you stand out, for sure.
Oh man. Well, I'm just gonna mark that question off. Don't even gotta answer that anymore. All right. Um, so what about movies or like series or anything? Like, is there anything that? Well, first off, what was something when you were a little bit younger? What was something that you were really into as opposed to now? Like, what's something that you're really into?
Um, when I grew up, I was super into Dora the Explorer. That was my jam. And now I'm all like Dragon Ball Z and My Hero Academia, and I'm like, yeah, it's a little different.
A bit, yeah. It's like
But hey, I
there's a difference
yeah, a little
between
bit, but it shows
like
you right there.
it's like where's Boots to Kamehameha. It's a small difference, but it is a big difference.
It's a difference, and it just shows you right there how I was watching that as a baby, dude, and that was a cartoon right there, and I developed a love for cartoons at such a young age. Like, yeah, of course, they're vastly different, but in the end, they're cartoons,
Hmm.
and that's what's really cool to me about them is it's a whole different world, and a lot of them are different, but it's all the same world.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh man,
Yeah,
you're
this is
asking
the
me
hard
what
one.
my
Like, put
favorite.
some. If you ever want to, really get to know somebody, pop out like on the spot, just like, what's your favorite movie? It'll just be like, oh
Yeah,
shoot. Well, if I say this, like,
it,
there's your favorite movie, and then there's like the favorite movie that you tell people is your favorite movie. You know what I mean? There's like that guilty
it's
pleasure
like
movie, and then there's like, oh, this is the one that I tell real people.
it's like you say, yeah, my favorite movie is Shutter Island, but then on the inside you're like, I really don't want to tell him it's Jason X. um, I guess I actually think I just said it. Shutter
Jason X, I
Island with
agree. Oh,
Leonardo.
oh, Shutter Island. Okay.
Jason. Yeah. Who doesn't like Jason in space? All right, let me give you a rundown of Jason X. Jason has been dead for a long time, and the space crew of the year 30,000 million in the future, they find Jason in the Earth, and they decide to resurrect him because the Jason crew really needed to make another movie. So yeah, I guess Jason X is my favorite movie. Please edit that out.
No, I was literally pulling up Jason X so I could make sure that what you were saying was
Okay,
true.
no,
And
I guarantee you that's real. That's a real movie, and I can't believe it exists.
yeah, like, however, a team of students awakens him on a spaceship in the year 2455. Good lord, my friend.
No, it's actually
It has it has a
that.
Metacritic score of a whopping 25.
That's actually more than I thought it would get. No, okay, but yeah, Shutter Island. Have you seen Shutter Island?
Leo, right?
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio.
That was
It's got
that
like
was one of those ones
twist
that
after
I
twist.
didn't watch. I worked at a movie theater, and that movie,
Uh-huh.
like, it came out when I was working at the movie theater, and it was one of those. It was so busy that I didn't want to see it, just because, like,
Yeah, like you kind of felt overrated,
yeah, like,
and like you
when
probably
you're
could never
yeah,
get
when
in.
you work at a movie theater, it's one of those where things get hype, like Cars, like the movie Cars. Fantastic movie, Pixar, but when I was
Yeah.
working at the movie theater, we were giving out these little packs of, like, Cars cards, and kids would open them and, like, throw them on the ground, and you can't sweep up a card because it's flat and glossy. And then a child, like, we were also doing this promotion where we're like, you can get these cool Welch's, Cars shaped, you know, cherry Lightning McQueen gummies. And a child ate them and then threw them up, and in the middle of the movie, but then didn't tell us. So waited until after the movie was done, and then the mom came out, oh, by the way, my son threw up, these cherry gummies in the thing. And then, because, vomit it's easy when it's in one contained place, but a movie theater
Right.
slopes. So it just kind of
That
went
gets a
all
little
the
bit,
way
yeah.
down. And yeah, that was a fun
And
night.
little did you realize that he actually ate the car's toys.
Yeah, it's like,
And that's another story for another day.
yeah, so, like, to me, like, Cars, I'm like, I hate Cars. It's an awful movie. Everyone who sees that movie is awful. Like, it's just bad. They should never have made it. Then they made sequels, and I'm like, why? But yeah, so yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, seeing it, there, I'm just like, no. And, like, that was the same way with Shutter Island. Like, a lot of people were in there. A lot of people would sneak in alcohol to go see it, and, like, we would have to clean that up. So I was just like, I don't ever want to see Shutter Island. I love Leo. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, and like what's ironic about it, like, because that's funny you say so many people went to see it. I think it's like his most underrated film. Like, if you were to ask someone, like, oh, their favorite Leo movie, the majority of the time they'll probably say something like The
What's eating
Titanic,
Gilbert Grape? Oh,
but
not What's Eating Gilbert? Okay.
but they'll never say Shutter Island, and it makes me feel like nobody saw it, and it's super duper good. It's like twist after twist. Mark Ruffalo's in it, Ben Kingsley. It's great. I really, really love that movie. I don't want to give away anything because, like, the entire thing, it's just like a one giant, huge secret twist.
Yeah, like, so if
It's
everybody's
really
listening,
good.
go see Shutter Island. Came out in
Yeah,
2010, or was it 2009?
it was like I think it was pretty sure it was 10.
10?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just
So
remember,
like, comment,
like,
subscribe.
jeez, that was a movie. But so what about now? Like, what are you into now? Like, are you watching The Witcher? You into McMillions? Seems like a lot.
What's that?
So it seems like a lot of people, like, it's like when McMillions first started, people were like, yeah, let's watch that, and now we're like almost done, and like, I don't watch that anymore. I got bored. McDonald's. And you're like, all right, sorry. Like, they kind of let you know
I
what you
like.
were signing up for.
Well, I kind of like got into The Witcher. I watched the first couple episodes, and I fell behind because my parents suggested this show called Lost from 2006,
You mean the
and
best show that ABC has ever produced, next to
yeah,
Alias?
dude,
Yes.
yes, it's so good. And I kind of stopped watching The Witcher because I got so invested in Lost. And if you haven't seen Lost, anybody who's listening, then you need to go see that. It was from 2006 to, oh man, no, maybe it was 2004 to 2010. Like, it lasted 6
Yeah.
years.
It was, oh man, I
Yeah.
love that show so much. Like, have you finished it?
No, I'm in like the middle of season 5,
Okay.
and there's 6 seasons,
Yeah.
so I'm on the part where. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to say.
Here's the thing.
But,
I think it's okay for spoilers. It's been 10 years.
Okay, all right. So here's what we'll do. Like, I'm like gonna say spoiler right now. So if you don't want to listen to the spoiler, then scrub ahead to like I guess whatever timestamp you could post or something.
We'll go.
But,
Here we go. We're gonna do 30 seconds on Lost. So
Okay.
skip to 30 seconds right now.
Okay, all right. So the thing I really like about Lost is right now I'm on the middle of season 5. It's where Saeed has just shot child Ben.
Oh god.
Because like he went back in time into the 70s along with Jin and Sawyer and the gang, and he feels like his purpose is to kill Ben as a kid, and the episode ended on that. So we don't know like what is going to happen to Ben now because the episode ended on that. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. But I really love all the characters. I think my favorite is Sawyer. He started out as like that con man, criminal, bad guy. Don't like him. And he has like the best arc in the show where he becomes this really badass hero type and saves everyone. He's a leader now, strategist. He's great. Love him. And that's a 30. I think we did 30
We went over
seconds,
30
right?
seconds. I'm going to go my 30
Okay.
seconds. Now get ready, guys. Here we go.
All right. That's your 30 seconds.
Okay, so when I was watching it, like, you were in either one of two camps. You were in the Jack camp or you were in the Sawyer camp. So it was definitely those two different camps. And then
Yeah.
Kate was just bouncing around in the middle because she's Kate.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
because she does that.
Yeah, it's just like, oh.
Sawyer in
But I
episode,
really
but-
liked Charlie. Charlie was like one of my favorite characters, just because like
Oh, yeah.
you see his growth, and then
Yeah,
the
Charlie's
Not
great.
Penny's boat, and you're like, bruh, why?
Yeah.
It broke my heart.
Dude, it
Oh
broke
man,
my
and
heart.
Desmond, I love.
And like
Desmond.
the final thing he does is like the sign of the cross. And
Mhm.
oh, Desmond is
Desmond,
awesome, dude.
oh, God.
He was my favorite character for a while.
Yeah, it's like Desmond, and then like
Yeah, he's
you
definitely-
never know what's going on with Locke. It's like I don't know what's going
Like-
on with Locke. He's a crazy person, but he's great.
You don't know if he's crazy or if destiny really does exist, or sometimes you feel really sorry for him or you want nothing to do with him.
Mhm.
He's a mystery. But a lot of people who have watched it and I've talked to about is like, oh, I never really liked Locke. Locke wasn't a good character. I never trusted him. And I kind of came back with this retort like, well, I never felt that way about Locke. I mean, everything he believed would happen happened. Like with the button, Naomi's crew, the orchid. I mean, everything he did and followed through with happened. So, in my opinion, he's like, I think maybe my 4th favorite.
Yeah,
I think he's a really good
and
character.
probably one
And
of
he's
the
very likable.
yeah, and probably one of the greatest love stories in all of television, Sun and June.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
It's so
That
good.
broke
and-
my heart when the boat exploded, and I actually did think for a really long time that Jin had died. I was like thoroughly convinced, and then I see Danielle Russo's crew rescue him. I'm like,
Rescue him.
whoa!
Oh man. Okay. Well, enough from the show that ended 10 years ago. That was
Yeah,
that
we're
was your
standpoint
that
right
was
now.
your Lost Talk episode 8472. Was that it? Oceanic Flight 84
Is Oceanic Flight 816.
816. Yeah. I don't know 8472. I don't know where that
15,
came from.
16, 23, 42.
God, it's been a while for me, man. Like
I'm like, I can see like everything flooding back in your eyes.
I
You're
am now. I'm like, I want to watch Lost now.
Dude, it's so good. Once you watch it, though, you're gonna get sucked in, man. Like you're gonna want to just watch everything.
And Boone, oh, poor Boone had so much potential.
Dude, Boone,
he gets
forgot
crushed
Boone
by a
was
Cessna.
character.
Oh,
Ugh, that was heartbreaking. I forgot he was a character, man, and I feel really bad saying that. Same thing about Shannon.
oh, yeah. The siblings that no
Remember
one
her?
cared about. It's just like they're there.
Until the very end, you were like, uh-oh.
hmm Oh man. So, all right. So yeah, watching Lost. So that's great.
Yeah,
Fantastic. Glad you're
thank
staying
you.
current with media.
Yeah, right. Definitely something that everyone, all the kids, all the hip kids, are gonna love.
Is there a medium that you haven't done yet that you would want to do?
Um, I really want to get into like animation first of all, and I'm actually kind of learning how to do that in my school right now, which is really cool. I've always been into drawing, and I just have never really been good at like coloring and shading until I took this drawing class, and oh man, I've gotten so much better. Not to sound like arrogant or toot my own horn or anything, but really like there's a huge improvement, and I'm really like gaining towards, and I've been getting way better at digital art too, and I've been like working towards animation. And right now I'm like storyboarding and stuff, and it's great. And I actually have like a cartoon in the works that I want to pitch to like either Adult Swim or Netflix, Hulu, any streaming service or Adult Swim would be great. And learning how to animate. I've already got the voiceover thing down. Like that's good. I've made my breakthrough. But the animation department, I really want to get into because that's where the real magic happens
Yeah.
in my mind. Where it's like the process is it starts with the voices and then you animate around it, but you wouldn't have a cartoon without cartoons, you know. And I know for a fact, like, that's a completely different world, and I'm going to have to adjust that, and I know there's going to be, like, grueling amounts of work, but, like, all that hard work, like when you sit down and watch, like, a 15-minute episode of, like, Steven Universe or something, and you go on with your day, I feel like a lot of people don't really appreciate, like all the work that went into animating just that one episode, and I feel like it'll be really, really cool to like be a part of that world.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, yeah, that's I've got my friend Sam Sawyer. She is creating the her series. Like it just got kickstarted. She's shopping it around to networks. It's called the Salem series, and she's got like Adam MacArthur from Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Rob Paulson's
Oh
in it.
wow, I know Adam.
Yeah, he's a great dude. We did a Dungeons
Yeah,
and
he's awesome.
Dragons session with him. Like his first time playing. We did a session
Oh
with him.
man,
It should become. I think it's scheduled to come out next week. So I mean, it should be out after
I'm
your
definitely gonna
episode. So
let's listen to that.
yeah, he was definitely a character in it. It was it's one of those great things about D&D when you create a whole situation, world, adventure for everybody to go on. You've got everything kind of, narrowed down. You kind of, keep your character, like your players' play styles, ready to go. But then Adam just comes in, and I'm like, all right, so first things first, you're going to talk to this guy, and he's going to give you the quest. Simple, because it's a one-shot. It's supposed to be like maybe an hour long. It was like, that's going to be easy. He's going to come, introduce your stuff. First thing Adams does, I'm gonna punch that guy. Be like, you wanna punch that man? Be like, yeah. It's like, all right, roll to punch him. Like you knocked him out. Now you gotta wait. And just like now I gotta wait. Well, it's like, well, he's definitely a wild card.
Listen, man. If you give someone a chance to be in a hypothetical world where anything goes, you're going to want to try some things, And
Yeah.
that's probably the only excuse I'm going to make for Adam hypothetically punching a kind man in the face.
Yeah, that was
I'm going to have to talk to him later.
like the poor guy. He was just a bartender,
He's
man.
just going to give you a quest, man.
Like he was just doing his job. Like yeah, it's like D&D's fantastic. But yeah, I mean she's got
for sure.
Laura Bailey, Rob Paulson's in it. So like she's got some really good, actors
Wow.
actors ready to go. But yeah, she's, going out doing the animation, creating the story, the world, everything. So it is definitely an
All
undertaking.
you had to say was Rob Paulson, and
Oh.
I would immediately have. Jeez.
He
Rob, I actually went to Birmingham Comic-Con like a month ago,
Mhm.
and Rob Paulson was there, and he was one of the few voice actors that I didn't really get to chat with. I talked with Zach Aguilera, who voices. I don't watch Demon Slayer, so I don't know the names, but he voices the main character, and so I got to chat with him. I got to chat a little bit with Christina V. Just Jason Lee Bear. So a lot of cool people. Steve Bloom, but Rob Paulson, man, he was just like, when he walked in the room, there was just something about him, like, you just kind of like relaxed, and you're like, this is the dude. And he'll like look over and you'll be like, hey, how's it going? And you just like get this like, I just want to talk to this guy for hours, but I can't because I have things to do.
Mm-hmm. I've only met him the one time, and it was at the Kickstarter launch party for Salem, and I got to meet him, and I was like, this dude like voiced like half of my childhood. So I'm like, it was an absolute
And his voice
pleasure.
is like honey. Like you could listen to it for days.
Like he was just talking, and he was doing like, and like the way that he can just go into all of his characters is phenomenal. Like he was just, be regular talking, and then he'd like slip into Carl and like slip into and you're just like, my goodness, like dude, this guy's he's crazy talented.
He is, and yeah, he made my childhood too. Like Jimmy Neutron and the Animaniacs, Danny Phantom.
Mm-hmm.
I like grew up on all of those, and it's definitely really cool. And that's what I really like about doing those conventions is it's like you get to see the legacy you've created. No, I probably wouldn't use like the word legacy to describe it, but it's like a nostalgic crowd. They've been watching that show that you do for years now. And Gumball's been out for like 7 years. I actually want to say like maybe 9 or 10 years. And like that's like 10 years worth. So like when I meet those like 21-year-olds or like 25-year-olds who like are coming up and saying, I love your show and everything, and in my mind I'm thinking, oh, well, we appeal to like these older audiences. That's crazy. Well, it's because they've been watching it since they were teenagers. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, especially like something like that where you've basically grown up with this series, and so like you've grown up with these fans. Like that's got to be something, because I mean you're a young actor, so I mean you're not like you're a 40-year-old grizzled old veteran who's voicing this character. Like you're growing up with these characters with these fans.
Right.
So like how is that for you? Is that like surreal when you go to conventions?
It's definitely surreal because I only recently started doing it. I've only done like 3. I started like last year, or maybe a little bit more than that. But it's like not only have they grown up, but since I started at such a young age, I can say that I've grown up. Like they've grown up with me too, and it's crazy because I never thought about it like that as a younger kid. But now that I'm like 18, I'm like looking back at all this.
Yet. That's tomorrow, buddy.
All right, listen, man.
You're still 17. Your birthday's not till tomorrow. You can't vape yet. Oh, I don't think you can vape anyway. I think didn't they just raise it to 21? You can't even vape yet. I don't want to hear it.
Well, I don't even want to vape ever. It's probably really bad for me.
This is true, but Mr. 17-year-old, as an 18-year-old, it's like, no, sir.
That's an 18-year-old. But yeah, it's definitely surreal. There's no other way I could put that.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Tomorrow, not today. Happy birthday tomorrow.
Happily and birthday to you, to me, to you.
So you're wanting to get into animation and everything. What type of stories do you want to tell?
I don't want to give too much away of like what I have in store.
No, I'm not asking for that. Like this, like what type of do you want to do like a lot of like sci-fi stuff? Do you want to do like the fantasy genre?
I was gonna tell the genre for sure. I want to really get into like hero storylines, but like what if heroes really did exist in real life type of thing. And I also want to incorporate like how superpowers would how superpowers would really be. Like, would they be inherited? Would they be learned? And if they were learned, would that be a bad thing? You know, I want to dive into like the philosophical parts of it, and there's definitely a lot of philosophy in it as well, on like good and evil imagery, and wait, hold on, is Alan Moore talking?
Like-
What's going on? Alan Moore has joined the chat with the Watchmen. Everybody,
Basically, I was like, what in the world?
But yeah, I really like telling those stories. Of course, it's gonna have like comedy and relate to teenage life, older adult life. Definitely not really gonna be suited for younger kids. I'd say like at the very least it would be maybe 13 or 12.
Okay, so you're
But,
not shooting
it
for like
would-
a big mouth type of audience. You're going more for that like Family Guy audience.
All right, listen, man, how dare you tell me I'm going for a Family Guy audience? Listen here, buddy. Hey, hold on a second.
You're going for that Venture Brothers audience. Is that better? Or is that's still a little bit?
I'd probably say I'm going for like that Adventure Time, but
Okay.
older audience, I guess. Maybe like a regular show Adventure Time audience, because
Okay.
that definitely appeals to, I'd say the max maybe like mid-20s or early 30s, I'd say. Right?
Yeah,
Am
but
I
yeah, it's one
kind
of those
of
things like when Adventure Time came out, like that was one of those like there were young kids watching it, and there were older kids watching it, and there were teenagers watching, you know, adults were watching it. But like with like something like Regular Show, I don't know a single child that watched Regular Show.
I got into it when I was like 10, but I could never really stay invested because it was definitely aimed for older
Yeah,
audiences.
it's definitely way over
And
the heads of a
I
lot
just-
of people.
Yeah, and like I really did not know what was happening when I watched it. I didn't get anything. And I like got into it when I was around 14 or something is when I kind of started to understand everything. And yeah, those are one of those shows that I don't know how, but like they got away with swearing on Cartoon Network. Like I don't know how that happens, dude.
It's
Like if I'm employed and I don't know, like it's really odd.
it's one of those weird things where like the censorship in like animation, like when I was growing up, like we had like because like Toonami had just started, so we were just starting to get Toonami. They had it was heavily edited everywhere, but then they would do Toonami After Dark, and then you would get to
Right.
hear like them swear on Gundam, and you're like, oh, what are these cartoon characters? They're swearing. And it was one of those like crazy things that like you had never heard from before. But now it's just like, yeah, you watch something like the Regular Show and you're just like, oh yeah, we just do that. And then you have stuff like Rick and Morty now where it's just like, you know, we just go for it because who cares?
And that was always really weird to me. Like as a kid, I grew up on Dragon Ball Z Kai, which was on Toonami, but like no swearing for. Or no. If it was on Toonami, there would have been swearing. It was on Nick. I watched it on Nickelodeon,
Nickelodeon
when I was growing up. Yeah, like I don't know how. Yeah, they showed it on Nickelodeon, and I had watched on YouTube when 18 gives Krillin a kiss on the cheek for like the first time and flies away. And when I watched it on Nick, like I had watched this prior, so I was really excited for this episode. I was like, oh, it's going to happen. And I watched it on Nick, and they didn't show it. And that was when my little child brain realized that there was a thing in the world called censorship, and they wouldn't show certain things. So I was like, what? So I finally realized that the true place to watch it was Toonami and Adult Swim. And then I got to see everything, and for the first time I was watching these cartoon characters swear. And for some reason that was like the coolest thing to me. Probably because I was like 13 trying to be an edgy teen.
And you're like, they said
I feel like we can all relate to
swear.
that.
Yeah.
I was like, now I'm going to do it.
And then you didn't because you were scared, or was that just me? It's like,
No, I was terrified. I didn't do it. I'm just trying to sound cool, man.
yeah.
Just
I
let me
mean,
have
you know,
this.
with your friends and everything, you're like, yeah, because we're little rat-faced teenagers, and we're gonna be a-holes. But yeah, like
And also Dragon Ball.
exactly. Yeah, I'd be like, oh, can you remember when he ripped that guy? No, I'm just, like, oh god, Dragon Ball Z. Those were the good old days of Dragon Ball Z. Um, like old Dragon Ball Z, not Kai, where they slimmed everything down and made it watchable. Not, yeah. Whereas in DBZ, like Goku charges a spirit bomb
What is
for
better in
3
your opinion,
episodes,
though?
misses, and you're like, Goku, really? Why? Like Cell and Piccolo have a
Is this
talk for like
is this how
seven
long
and
it?
a half episodes, and you're like, I don't just somebody just kill him, Cell. Like just do it, man. Like why you waiting? He's growing an
There are
arm
like
back.
50 openings.
Oh man. So Jacob, you are the celebrity ambassador to the Jonathon Foundation. What exactly is the Jonathon Foundation?
Yeah, so the Jonathon Foundation is a foundation that I've been a part of for like 7 years now. It gets the proper education and IEPs for children with learning disabilities. And I got involved with it because my mom is actually really good friends, really good friends with the founder Raja Mahabra, and I've been doing it for so long now. I've been promoting it through my Instagram and Twitter, attending to their annual events, donating a lot of my time and money to it as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it just really like resonates with me because there are a lot of people in my life who have learning disabilities, and I've gotten them to be a part of the Jonathon Foundation, and watching them get a better education, better IEP, watching their social skills improve, just their life as a whole just getting so much better because of this foundation is beautiful. And just the feeling I get when I see that, like when you see someone you really care about and their life completely go for a 180 in the best possible way, that it's great. And if I could take a little bit of my time to actually promote a little fundraising campaign I'm doing for the Jonathon Foundation,
Mm-hmm.
which, by the way, would be really fun for anyone listening and would want to participate. If you like My Hero Academia or Dragon Ball Z merch, then you might want to take a little listen to this. So I have 2 Funimation gift baskets, and the first one I'm doing is My Hero Academia themed. It's $600 worth of Funimation products of My Hero Academia, books, backpacks, t-shirts, sweaters. I got the first movie in there, trading cards, board games, everything you could think of that you would want My Hero Academia wise is in there. And all you have to do to have a chance to win it is go to thejonathonfoundation.org and donate $5. And that's all you got to do in order to win that. And I'll actually be like keeping you guys updated, whoever wants to participate, which you should because it would be awesome, through my Instagram and Twitter. My Instagram is Hopkins Jacob, and my Twitter is Hopkins Jacob 5. And I'll definitely be like updating everyone through that every day. So yeah, that's what I want to say about that. But it's really cool that I get to do it for the foundation too.
Definitely, and we'll put the links to your social, which again we usually wait until towards the end of the podcast to
Awesome,
promote
awesome.
you. But again, you decided that you wanted to jump ahead of everything. That's fine. No, no,
A little
yeah.
passive aggressiveness.
Just a bit, yeah, that's what I do. We'll put links to your social and the links to the Jonathon Foundation and for your giveaway in the show notes. So if you guys want to follow Jonathon, hop on board for that giveaway. Just click on the show notes. You'll see the links. Click on those. It'll take you right there. So did I call you Jonathon?
You did,
I
but
did,
it's
didn't I?
you know what? You could have just like rolled with it, and you could have been just talking about Jonathon Mahabra himself. So, but you know what? That's a-okay because my
Yeah.
name also begins with J, and that rhymed. So there
Yeah,
you go.
hey, at least I didn't call you Jason. I called Jason Simpson Jason once, and he's just gone. He's just rolled with it. So maybe you should just change your name to Jonathan. It works out well for people when I butcher your name.
Jason also sounds really cool because it sounds like a really cool evil character. So you could just go with that.
Jason, and you're like, oh no, he's a scary man. So real quick, Jay, one last question here. What's your dream role?
Oh, my
Like,
dream.
do you want to be in the Star War? Do you want to do stuff like that?
Do I want to be in the Star War?
Let's be honest, guys. It's just one
War.
war that just goes through like 9 different movies. It's the same war. Just saying.
Just throwing that out there. Also, Marvel sounds really cool. I definitely want to be a Marvel superhero. I don't know what superhero would be because a lot of them have been done. Maybe Nova. Like, I don't know.
Oh,
There's
Nova
a lot of
would be
possibilities
cool.
they have. Yeah, there's a ton of possibilities that they can do. But yeah, definitely. Like that's in my bucket list. Like being in a Marvel movie as a Marvel superhero is my dream role. For sure.
You don't want to be a DC superhero?
Well, animated.
Oh, fine. Okay, well, we're done now. So that was the end of the episode, everybody. Apparently, Jonathon doesn't want to be in the DC cinematic universe as a young Tim Drake. So,
well, hold on a second. If you're going that route, then by all means, I'm all ears. I feel like being in a DC movie would still be really cool. Like, yeah, obviously being like a young Robin or something would be great, but they got great animated movies too, man. Like The Red Son just came out, and that is awesome. Like, you need to go see that if you're a DC fan. But yeah, like those animated DC movies are what I grew up on, and that'd be really, really freaking cool if I was in one. So if you're listening, Warner Brothers.
Dear Warner Brothers, Jacob's literally saying he wants to be Tim Drake, the Robin that you've completely let die. Like, didn't even kill him. At least they killed Jason Todd to bring him back later. They just forgot about Tim Drake, and it hurts inside because he's my favorite Robin.
I got that under the Red Hood reference, but
yeah,
go on.
Yeah, no, just bring him back. You could be with Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Oh man, Jacob, dude, thanks so much for coming on. It was a blast.
Oh, my pleasure, man. I had a really great time too.
Oh man, and let's see, right now, you can be found on DreamWorks' Dragons Rescue Riders Season 2 on Netflix, correct?
Yes, I can. That's right, sir.
Anything upcoming that you're allowed to tell us about?
Well, I'll take this time to talk a little bit about Goldbergs and Rescue Riders. First thing I want to mention is I actually do have a couple new episodes of the Goldbergs coming out, and I'll keep you posted on those, again, through my social media, which I'll plug in later, so don't worry.
Oh, no, you've already plugged it, so we're done now.
Yeah, and I get to talk about Dragon Rescue Riders. Axel Fink. I voice Axel Fink. He's a bit of good, a bit of bad, a bit of both. He's definitely a really fun character. You never really know what he's up to. Maybe he wants to become a rescue rider. Maybe he just wants to trick everyone and use the dragons to take over the world for himself. Or maybe he just wants to be loved by a dragon. You never really know what his mission is, but he's definitely a mysterious type. So if you're itching to watch something like that in the dragon world, then I got you covered.
Nice. Let's just for fun, Jonathon. Where can everybody find you social media-wise, in case they weren't paying attention?
Well, Josh Kane, you can find us. My Twitter is HopkinsJacob5, and my Instagram is HopkinsJake. If I haven't said that already, but something tells me I did, could be wrong.
Hold on, were there 5 other Hopkins Jacobs?
Yeah,
really?
I'm the 5th one. I'm also kidding about that, by the way. I chose the number 5 because that's the age I started acting.
Okay, I'll allow that. At least you weren't like Jacob Hopkins 33698, and you're just like, what does that stand for? I don't know. I just popped in some numbers. The numlock wasn't off, so I don't know what happened. Oh, man. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Kane. You can find the podcast on Instagram at Animation Station Podcast, on Twitter at Animate Podcast. All of our episodes available, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, and on our website, animationstationpodcast.com. Jacob, man, thanks again so much for coming on.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Josh. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. So for the Animation Station Podcast, I'm Josh.
And I'm Jacob Hopkins.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.